Today's guest is Yosheyah Moyo. Yosheyah is the owner of Alpha Fabrications and his newest endeavor, United Pursuits, which is a pilot car service for big rigs or whatever. I've known Yoshi, man, for at least 26, 27 years. Met him and his family back in the day at Savannah State University. It was him, his dad, his mom, his brother, and they were taking a college tour, and I was coming out of the side of the bicycle hall by the parking lot. And the guy or whatever was like, hey, you know, they're taking a college tour. Can you show them up to your dorm room so they can see what the dorms look like? I'm like, yeah, come on up. So they brought him up to my dorm room. My roommate at the time was a guy named Devon Collins. And so on my side of my dorm room, it was just full of the jet beauties of the week. You know, so my side was, the whole wall was plastered with beauties of the week. Devon's side of the room, of the dorm or whatever, was bare or whatever. He might have had a football poster, but yeah, they came up. They was like, oh, okay, you know. So, and then the following year, you know, during August when everyone's coming back to school, I'm walking around campus and I ran into Yoshi again. I'm like, Yoshi, I mean, you know, I met you last year. You was with your family. Like, yeah. So, and from there, you know, known Yoshi, man, since that time. Done a lot of stuff, partied a lot, did a lot of things or whatever. The topic of today's conversation is basically how Yoshi turned what some would call a setback into a major comeback. You know, it's a story of resilience, you know, being, you know, young, and I ain't gonna say young and dumb, but we were all doing wild stuff back in the day, but being able to overcome these circumstances and now looking back and saying, you know what, I made it through, you know, and just keep on progressing and moving forward. And so to everyone out there, I present to everyone Yosheyah Moyo.
What's up, good people? And Yoshi works.
Yoshi, okay, gotcha.
You know how to pronounce it, but I know you can imagine, you know, trying to.
Right.
And that's something I've been dealing with since I was in high school, in elementary school, you know.
Oh, for real?
I can't count how many fights I had over my name. The teacher can't pronounce the name, so you know the kids gonna make fun of it too.
Right.
You know, I'm like, ha, hell, you know. You know. But yeah, thanks for having me on, Doug, man. Like, you know, as you was talking about, like, you remembering that first time. Like, to be honest with you, I don't have any recollection of it at all. Be honest
for real? Wow.
But I do have recollection of once we did start getting in tone and kicking it. Always the same positive energy, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, sir.
All that stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, your character and integrity was never in question, you know what I'm saying? You know,
yes, sir.
He was a little sippy and tipsy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So a little bit about my background. I was born in Monrovia, Liberia, West Africa.
Right.
At the beginning of a coup that turned into a 20-year-long war with genocide and all kind of crazy stuff going on. Both my parents from the United States, though. They was over there really on. Actually, so a quick interesting story, I guess, for viewers that might not know, the Hebrew Israelites, right, that everybody, I'm sure, have heard of, right?
Right.
The Hebrew Israelites, not them jokers wearing them Voltron suits up in New York or whatever, but they started on the south side of Chicago.
Okay.
My father, Ben Ahmed, Nasi Asiel, like the founders, like, was my father's homeboys. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was in tune with them. My father's 85, so that gave you an idea, you know.
Gotcha.
How deep. So like when all of the movement stuff was going on and everything else, he was there.
Right.
He was a photographer. So like even during the riots in Chicago and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Like when Honorable Chairman Fred Hampton got murdered and all, like, he was there. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
And because he was a photographer, he was always taking pictures, and like that was one of the things that he did. Like, he would volunteer his services to all of the different movements that was going on in Chicago, you know what I'm saying? So like he got pictures of Farrakhan when he young. He got pictures of all of these guys, you know what I'm saying, all these historical figures that we know about, like,
right.
He was there. So that's how he ended up getting in tune with the Hebrew Israelites. And at that time, the Hebrew Israelites were on a mission of basically creating we'll say villages, for lack of a better word,
right,
over in the motherland. and also in Israel. They still got their compound. They still got their village over in Israel. It's actually about 200-300 of them jokers over there. You know what I'm saying? At this point, they like second and third generations.
Right. Wow.
This was like in the 70s. Yeah, it's a whole black city in Israel with brothers from the United States originally.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how we ended up over there, and they just wasn't really aware of the political climate at the time. So they kicked off into a long civil war. So for the first 5 years of my life, there's war going on around. You know what I'm saying? Like literally. You know what I'm saying? And like not every day, but like sometimes people that we was. And I was talking to my mother about this last year sometime. Because they had built some good rapport with the natives and all that. The native Liberians. That sometimes they somebody who fucked with them would come and be like, hey, don't go to the market today. You know what I'm saying? Right. Or give me your list of what you need and I'll go get it for you because y'all don't need to be mixed up in this.
Right.
So anyway, we got up out of there when I was about 5 years old. My parents split apart. But that requires me to give a little bit more into that because Hebrew Israelites and my upbringing, like they believe in polygamy. So actually, I have 3 mothers.
Okay.
So when we left Liberia, 2 of my mothers decided to split from my father, and they moved back to Cincinnati. That's where they was from. My father moved back to Chicago.
Gotcha.
With the mother that you saw when you first saw me at down at Savannah State.
Yeah.
That's my mother from Chicago. That's Mommy Kate. That's Mommy Vet, Mama Thimby, and Mama Kimmy. Those are my mamas. Like some of the reasons why my comeback and my some of those like core values that don't never leave you no matter what situation you're in. You know what I'm saying? Come from some of them strong women. And my father too. Not to take nothing from him.
Right.
So grew up in Cincinnati for a little bit. Well, back and forth between Cincinnati and Chicago.
Okay.
And then when I was about 10 years old, I got a little too big for my britches or whatever the case may be. And my mother decided to ship me to Chicago. So for the rest of my life, I was living every day, you know what I'm saying, in Chicago. So junior high school and high school, I was all spent in Chicago.
Right.
So I've always been I got a scientific mind, you know what I'm saying? So
right.
And historic mind. So like I like reading books and shit. But I like reading historical books.
Right, gotcha.
Like I rarely read novels, you know what I'm saying? But I'll pick up a book on history or something, or psychology, or behavioral science and archaeology and shit like that. That's just my nature. So I'm saying that to say that I had a love for the science, and then I love the water. And I'm older. You remember Flipper from
yeah.
Hey, Flipper was my dude. You hear me? So I'm like, I'm gonna be a marine biologist.
Right.
So that's how I end up choosing Savannah State because it's only 2 HBCUs that got a marine science program that I knew of at the time at least, and that was Hampton, which is in Virginia,
right,
and Savannah State. So that's how I ended up choosing Savannah State. On top of needing to get out of Chicago, you know what I'm saying? Because Chicago now it's wild because there ain't no structure, but the murder rate is down from what it used to be. You know what I'm saying?
Oh wow, for real?
Hell yeah! Just look at the numbers. Like it's not. It's not even close. Like you know what I'm saying? Like the numbers used to be 900 plus every year.
Right.
So it's still crazy now, whatever. But it's mild now, and that's crazy to say it's mild right now with 500-600 murders because that's still crazy. But the Chicago I grew up in when I first went up there in 91 and 92, they took 1,000 murders a year. Like it was gang wars for real. It just everybody didn't have a cell phone in their hand and the cameras wasn't all the, you know what I'm saying? So you just didn't have easy access to the craziness. So that's why everybody now is like, oh, Chirac and Chicago been stupid.
Right.
You know what I mean? So also just wanting to expand my horizons and you know what I'm saying? Like 8 billion people on the planet, man, and different kinds of foods and cultures. So I've always had that curiosity in mind about, you know what I mean? So it wasn't nothing for me to decide I wanted to go college and like go far. You know what I'm saying? Like, for whatever reason people choose to wherever they decide to go. It wasn't even like I was just trying to like get away, but it was like, man, shit, it's a whole lot of shit over there. Let me go see what's going on over there.
All right, so let me ask you a question. Then I don't mean to cut you off, but how did you?
Yeah.
All right,
Keep me from rambling.
In Chicago or whatever, how did you? You said you want to get away, but how did you? I guess avoid. I guess during that time with the gangs prevalent, then how did you avoid getting? I guess recruited or whatever.
I didn't. Like you know what I'm saying. That ain't. You know what I mean. That ain't how that worked.
Right.
But also, because one of the things I can remember, like when I, because like all throughout my childhood, I was, back and forth. Like, so I definitely spent summers up there, and I got cousins and, you know what I'm saying, and whatnot up there. But I just do this thing, remember, just like the culture thing about like having a hat on and which way you wear your hat. And one of my first introductions, a nigga came with me and took my hat off my head, like, nigga, you don't know where you at type shit. Ooh.
Right.
And I'm like, nah, give my fucking hat back. And I realized it was 2-3 other niggas that was in the alley, you know what I'm saying? And I got jumped on. You know
right.
That was my interest, you know what I mean? So like it's impossible to avoid it, you know what I'm saying? But the fact that I didn't have a, inside, like it's one thing, like, cause we live on the south side of Chicago, 75th Michigan, and 69th Oglesby. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
There's no avoiding that shit because that's Chicago. But I was fortunate now, especially now I look back at it, you know what I'm saying, that in my home, you know what I'm saying, even though my home was on the block, but when I open up my door and go in my home, right there's love. You know what I'm saying? There's resource, there's food to be eaten. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm scrambling for some basic necessities of life, which is one of the things that, push anybody in gang culture in general to seek those basic necessities, you know what I'm saying, like love, food, clothing, and shelter, whatnot, somewhere else outside the home. So that's one of the things that just, as a result, kept me from getting too
wrapped up.
You know what I'm saying? And also about I'm a horrible follower. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm the young nigga or whatever. Like, they're just gonna tell me what we're gonna go jump on the guys. Why? You started it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm like, nah.
Right.
I'm not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So I sucked at it at that part.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? As far as that goes. And that helped me actually develop the strength of character to, be like, no. And like, you know what I mean? On things that I'm like, nah, just that goes against my own, you know what I mean, character and integrity. Right. Like, I ain't gonna be on that. Right. I ain't gonna be on that no matter what. So yeah, I was horrible at gang banging, man. Like, nah. Okay. Y'all on bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all on bullshit. We finna go fuck with them. Why? Because it's Thursday. That's why. Like, no, that don't make sense. They ain't did nothing. You know what I mean? You started that shit. You know what I'm saying? Right. You got that man, girl, butt. You know what I'm saying? And now you come to me for aid and assistance for some shit you started. Nah. Right. Nah. All right.
So you made the transition down to Savannah to attend to attend Savannah State, and that's when I met you, of course, or whatever. And so how was the transition of for you once you got down to Savannah State or whatever?
Well, I mean, the transition, it's a bunch of different ways. Like, I don't have a problem or with these. I can, meet people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I have an ability to, you know what I'm saying, meet people and not, you know what I'm saying, and be able to kind of find my way wherever I go. So that part wasn't an issue. It was somewhat of a cultural shock though, because the South is culturally different. It took me about 2 years to understand what you Negroes were saying because y'all cut off the words and shit. But now I catch myself talking just like it too. You know what I'm saying? Right. But also, I gained a level of appreciation. Okay. In the South because, I don't care. Like if motherfuckers is perfectly honest, you know what I'm saying? Like you come up in the Midwest and then, in the East Coast, whatever, in northern cities, whatever, people like there's a unsaid almost like feeling like, man, these niggas in the South are slow and and they done this and third, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. Right. You know what I'm saying? So like, and in many ways, you know what I mean? Like intellectually, right. Even with the, because I remember what, I absolutely had a thought process in my head like, man, these niggas down here going for all this stuff, these crackers, you know what I'm saying? Woo, woo. And that ain't the case either. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially as I started learning more and more and more. like a lot of the movements for real, and niggas bucking.
Right.
It started right here. Right. Not in the other cities. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I was able to appreciate it for that. You know what I mean? The women and all that other stuff too. But unfortunately, to get into how even the setback I ended up having, because it's such a like compared to Chicago, right?
Right.
The immediate danger and going against the structure and the street life just don't exist the same way down here in the South.
Okay.
So, you know what I mean? I had some freedom that I wouldn't have been able to have in Chicago.
Right.
To, you know what I'm saying, be hustling and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you can do that in Chicago too, but there's already a structure that's built in there. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't just coming out, you know what I mean? Ain't nobody just freestyling in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? You ain't just getting no packet, then you just gonna go out there and you ain't gonna have no issues to be dealt with.
Right. So you're a part of something up there. Like if
you ain't got no fucking choice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You could call yourself not being a part of something, but as soon as the word get out there, they on your ass.
Right.
Period.
Right.
Period. You know what I'm saying? So when again with some of that stuff that I had learned in Chicago and then being down here and being ambitious, want some money, this, that, and the third, and I'm like, oh shit, and I can just set up shop and like, you know what I mean? Ain't nobody, you know what I mean? Big homie ain't pulling up like ooh.
Right.
Oh, okay. So anyway, but I enjoy school because schooling and reading is something that's already in me that I do. You know what I'm saying? Like it came too easy to me that where I wasn't challenged.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? That made more space for me to, be more ambitious and more rambunctious and you know what I'm saying? But also I had some great experiences while I was doing marine biology. I went to a couple of marine science institutes. I did a couple internships,
right?
And that was again so throughout all of that, I was always like, okay, well I'm gonna do the internship. I'm gonna choose someplace far away. So I did an internship in Kittery, Maine,
right?
The UFO Institute up there. One down in Port St. Lucie in Florida, and then something else in New Mexico. So you know what I mean? Like I've always had that ambition, go far. You know what I'm saying? Change the area code. Change the weather. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So all of those all of those things have helped inform, you know what I'm saying, who I am today. And so as a business person, you know what I'm saying, now, I've all those different scenarios and situations, so I know how to deal with a lot of different people from different walks of life.
Okay.
Be able to code switch and have conversations with different people from different, you know what I'm saying, from the different walks of life.
Gotcha. All right, so we're at Savannah State. If you want to, I guess get into
ask away.
Get into what I guess the situation that got you to going into where you went into prison or whatever, and then coming out of prison, and then how did you get into welding? Because that's what you're the owner of Alpha Fabrication, so. How did you get into welding? Use that experience and then get into welding, and then wanted to start your own business or whatever.
So, while I'm at Savannah State, started selling weed. I'm ambitious, so you know what I mean. An ounce wasn't enough. You know what I mean. An ounce turned into a pound, and a pound turned into 10 and 15 and 20, and I started having a close connection with some people in Savannah that wasn't going to Savannah State. So you know what I mean? So I think after that first semester, I moved off campus.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was off campus after my first semester, you know what I'm saying? And so through all that process, you know what I'm saying, just being ambitious, and weed turns into whatever selling, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I think that was 2004. So technically, I guess in the most technical sense, I dropped out. And what's interesting enough, right now, no, I don't see the value in me going back. But I think I'm like 20 credits away from a degree.
Oh wow!
Literally, I think it might be like 18. And now I think about it, it's
right.
You know what I mean, like a semester and I'm done type shit.
Right.
But I eventually just stopped going. And I also, quick point, I also I got disenchanted and fell out of love with the career of a marine scientist, right? It's one thing to enjoy it for the sake of science and the sake of right, but the career of a marine scientist, and I, you know, as a youngster when I first chose it, I wasn't thinking that far ahead. Like it's chasing grants from the government, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like it's 99% white people, right? That I have a problem or can't get along and know how to move in those spaces, but because it's chasing grant money and things like that too, right? The good jobs, the good grants and everything else, nepotism falls in play. You know what I'm saying? And because you know I'm a black man that don't scratch his head, that's an itch, and I ain't checking my shoelaces because I tied them up before I got out here. You know what I'm saying? And my energy, like you know, like I'm not the guy that's gonna sit around where they doing microaggressive, you know, nigga jokes on the low and all that. Like what the fuck you say? So like fit. Just wasn't a fit that I, you know what I mean? And this was after doing some internships. This was after presenting some papers, you know what I'm saying? And like being around and seeing clearly what that trajectory would have been. Right. And, you know, I had just, you know, fell out of love. So that's one of the reasons why I just stopped going. Because at the time I didn't have a clear goal of what the next thing would be. Right. And because money was coming and, you know what I mean? And women is coming and all that other stuff and the freedom to go when I wanted to and all that, you know, it was easy for me to just, you know, just stop going. You know what I mean? That's I just stopped going to school. You know what I'm saying? Okay. It wasn't because I didn't fail out. You know what I mean? Like I stopped going to school with a B average. You know what I'm saying? Right. Right. But anyways, so how did it get jammed up? So eventually, somebody told on me about something, and mind you, like I ain't never got locked up for nothing major, but the thing about you know the system here, and the thing about so like a couple of times I've been arrested or whatever, and there was an issue. It would be the same kind of thing that if it was a white boy, they give him drug classes, right? But it's me, and because it was more than one bag, like possession with intent to distribute, you know what I mean, and and because you know at the time, like you know I talk peace, but I carry a big stick. You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. As soon as it's a pistol there too, so that you know what I mean. So all of that makes it look like this, that, and third. So, I ended up catching my first bid was a 5. Oh wow! And but I only did 18 months off of that. Okay. About you know because it's non-violent crime. You know what I'm saying? So you only do 15-20%. I forget what the number is. So I caught that bid when I came home. I think I was having a conversation with my sister, but between my sister and my mother, you know, they black women that you know I don't think they love me unless they cuss me out a little bit. But they're good cussing out. I mean, what the fuck is you doing? Excuse my language. You know what I'm saying? But like, you know, when you gonna stop bumping your head on the stupid rock? You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. And my mother in Chicago, her father was a welder. Okay. And he had a welding company in Chicago. And so that was my first like thought about, you know what I'm saying, and seeing how maybe that, you know what I mean, you could be an independent, you know what I'm saying? But I can honestly say that wasn't really like I wasn't thinking about that when I chose it, honestly. But when I look back at it, like I can't deny that it wasn't like maybe it was just there in my subconscious. But it right. You know what I'm saying? And so I decided to go to Savannah Tech and pick up welding. Welding and joining technology, and because I decided I wanted to stop bumping my head on a stupid rock, you know, I tell people when I tell a story, like I basically slept in the welding department. You know what I'm saying? And after that first semester, which mind you, when I first came home, I paid for that first semester with drug money. Okay. Right? But after that first semester, or I think that was on quarters actually at the time, but after that first quarter, I showed up and showed out so much that the director of the program was like, here, go to financial aid, talk to Miss Woo, and tell her you're going to sign up for this scholarship, and this scholarship, and we're going to make sure you get all of them. And I didn't pay for another semester after that. Oh, wow. Okay. I was paying out of my pocket. Right. And eventually, and I'll send you the picture. They made me the poster boy of the damn welding department. Like, you know how, like, for real, like we walked to the welding department. It was a life-size banner up there with me, like,
right.
they did an interview with me and all this other wap the bound. And I get married during that time period. My woman at the time, I had her. She got pregnant. I have a daughter now who's 13 years old.
Okay.
I ain't gonna speak her name. You know her name, right? As far as my ex-wife and all that, you know what I'm saying? Because whatever. And I don't regret none of those things. That ain't how life worked. You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't a good fit. It didn't work out.
Right.
But we had got married, had a house, and everything else. And in the process of that as well, I, as a thinking man in Savannah and everything else, I picked up historic preservation.
Okay.
Right? Savannah being an old city, so I'm thinking, because same like I said, I was a horrible follower and a horrible game man. I'm a horrible employee.
Right.
Because I'm just there to pick up the game. I don't plan on staying though.
Right.
Like I don't plan on staying. You did. So I was always, when I was picking up welding, it was to, go get a welding job, but it was just so I could go soak up enough game and then start my own business. That was always my game plan.
Right.
And so I thought about it being Savannah, and what's gonna make any business stand out, right? Is them having a niche. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's not easily found everywhere else. And so that's why I went and took up historic preservation to add to my welding. So some of my first gigs that I was getting was welding jobs, but in historic preservation. You know what I'm saying?
So you're doing like historic build, like historical buildings or whatever, repairing them or whatever to keep
Absolutely.
them going.
Right.
Gotcha.
So this is the Green Meldrum House down here in Savannah, which is where General Tecumseh Sherman with his
right.
troops, you know what I'm saying? It's where he quartered his troops down here. The Roundhouse Railroad Museum down there, and then a bunch of other just places down there. So like the fencing on a lot of those older buildings is cast iron, right?
Okay.
Cast iron can be welded too, but the average guy who's just a welder is never gonna see cast iron. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like kind of specific to historic preservation,
right?
And then just the knowledge and know-how that came with that as well. So I eventually, even though I dropped out of Savannah State, I got 2 degrees from Savannah Tech, one in historic preservation and the other one in welding and joining technology.
Right. Okay.
That was a part of what, that setback was a setup for a major comeback.
Right.
So when I came home, like I say, like when I that first semester that I paid for, and then like because of my ambition, the same dude who was the director of the program started allowing me to take classes. You're supposed to take 101, then 201 and 301, right? Right. He started letting me take the classes that was supposed to be in the next chapter, basically, at the same time. So I was taking 101, 102, and 103 at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Because that was. So
you taking all the classes that's supposed to be in succession. You taking them all at one time.
I finished a 2-year degree in 1 year. That's a fact.
Gotcha. So you came in ready. So you were really ambitious.
No cigarette breaks, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm there for 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like for real. I came in like that. Boom. So at the time, so I started my own welding business. My first welding job was a cage for an air conditioning unit, because you know how the base heads, you know what I'm saying, will break into the air conditioning units to take the copper out of it, you know what I'm saying? Right. Boom. And it was just a conversation somebody was having, you know what I mean? And it was like, man, and again, so I was talking to your brother about this earlier. I think one of the keys of entrepreneurship is creating money. And how do you create money? Is you see voids that need to be filled. You know what I'm saying? And you shop yourself, you shop your skill set, you shop your resources, you know what I'm saying, your network, whatever, in order to, and then that's how you create money. So it was just a conversation dude was having. I'm like, I can make one of those, right? Right. But at the same time, I didn't have a welding machine. I knew somebody that did. I borrowed their welding machine. Right. I took it at the time. The house I was staying out in Paradise Park, I had a garage, and I went and bought a plastic table. It wasn't even a metal table, you know what I'm saying? I needed something flat, and I made that. I gave the machine back to the dude. I think it was like I think I charged the guy $400, and instead of taking that $400 like I made something, I went and bought my own welding machine. So that was the last time I ever borrowed somebody's welding machine. You know what I'm saying? And then I bought some tools. And so really like the first year of me being in business, and mind you, I'm in business and I'm still working for somebody. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just there soaking up game. Like all of the money that I made from the different welding projects I had, I just bought more tools. So
you building up everything. See, right?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? To the point right now, I got 3 big machines and I got about 4, 5 smaller ones. You know what I'm saying? And I got all the tools I need. You know what I mean? But that's, you know, the thing about entrepreneurship is you got to be okay with and comfortable with. You know what I mean? You got to reinvest in yourself sometimes before you can't just because you got a job that you made $1,000 on don't mean you go blow that $1,000.
Right?
You know what I mean? You got to go. You got to invest back into yourself. Invest back in your business.
Right.
So bullshit is nothing. So as like things are going well, I opened up my shop. I had a shop I think I opened my shop in probably 2010. I think 2010, 2011, around that time. And I had a client who I found off of Craigslist.
Okay.
Building carpet racks, but like hundreds of them. You know what I'm saying? And so I ended up having my own shop.
Right.
Things fall apart with my marriage. And you know, again, this is a talk about, you know, setbacks and whatnot. You know, I didn't handle that well.
Right.
And so I look up and I found myself, you know, in old habits and old places and things like that, things that I had turned away from. Right.
Right. Yeah. I get it.
You know what I'm saying? And so I ended up getting locked up again.
Right.
Because I don't know if you know, in this time, I caught a longer sentence, but I still ended up doing just right up under 2 years. Right at about 2 years.
Okay.
I came home from that in 2019.
Okay.
Right. But I already had that experience, you know what I'm saying, with being an entrepreneur, you know what I'm saying, was more focused on that. And then, you know, that time, you know, it was a good hard reset for me to like get my shit together. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which really prepared me for the success I got now.
Right.
No bullshit, G. When I came home in 2019 in June or July, like within 3 months, I had a $120,000 contract in my pocket.
Wow.
Straight up. And ain't look back.
All right. So the $120,000 contract, you know, you getting out, you out, you know, you in business, you looking for business, you know, was this through like networking, someone you knew, or
So what it was, because before I got locked up, I had one of my first big projects. This is when I still had my shop. Was doing the vestibule for a Hobby Lobby and put supports on the roof for all the reefer units, right? So it was around like $19,000-$20,000. And the funny shit too, right? This thing about, you know, entrepreneurship is like once I built a decent rapport with the general contractor on the job, I asked him, I said, you know, man, you know, how much was this job going for? Because one of the things, like if you don't go to business school or, you know, one of the things that they will rarely do is tell you what the market can bear. You already know in business, you know what I'm saying, you get what the market can bear. And I was like $7,000 lower than the lowest bid. So I left $7,000 on the table.
Right. Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But that was a learning lesson for me because at the time, you know, I'm thinking I'm doing good. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I think I made $9,000 on the job, which was good money because it took me like 3 weeks. That ain't a bad check. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I found out that I left $7,000 on the damn table.
Right.
But on that job, it was a bunch of other subcontractors out there. And one of the subcontractors remembered me from that. And while I was locked up, he saw one of the guys who was working with me at the time, you know.
Okay.
I always use that term too, by the way, you know what I'm saying? That's something that I think is important. Like they, you know, you have employees that work for you, but in a more, like you can't scale by yourself. So these guys work with me, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're the one who cut the check and like, you need to do what I tell you to do, But it's a different energy, you know what I'm saying? When I say that these guys work with me, not for me, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't, you know, you still got to lay the hammer down, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we walk the bound, but you know what I mean? But I keep it like that though. And so one of the contractors saw the guy who was working with me at the time while I like No, I had came home, but he saw one of the guys that worked with me and asked him like, "Hey, I'm working on this project. We need a welder. You know what I'm saying? We need a welding company. You know what I'm saying? Shit, when the last time you seen Brian, man? So that guy calls me. You know what I'm saying? And so again, this is the thing about it. Like that opportunity came from my reputation. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing about your rep, especially in business. You know what I'm saying? Bad news spread faster than good news.
Right. That's true. That's true.
You know what I mean? But that good news is what'll keep you getting better news. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so that's simply what it was, you know. And what's another? So at the time, I'm working for, and this is when I got the taste for like the water. There's planes, trains, and automobiles, baby. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, and boats. You know, because it's a transportation. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna always be logistics. It's always gonna be a thing.
Right.
And Savannah being the fifth largest port in the United States, numbers wise, you know. I was working for a spot called Marriott Marine, and they have work barges. So they barges got cranes on them.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm saying? They assist tugboats. They put up floating docks, all that kind of stuff. So I'm working with them guys, and at the time I'm making like $30 an hour. We're fresh out of prison. That ain't bad, right?
Right.
And bullshit is nothing. Like the week before I get the news about this project, the owner, right, this old white dude, probably say nigga 10 times before he brushes his teeth in the morning. Like I noticed, you know, but and the reason I say that is because guess what? When they talk about me, they ain't gonna come into my face, but they're like, man, that nigga show can't well. That nigga show no, that nigga business tight. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They do it. You did?
Right.
But he's standing behind me one day, and I'm working. I look back at what I keep on working, and he walked up to me in my ear and said, "I'm gonna give you a raise." I ain't been there 2 months. Right. So I look at him, all right, thank you. And on the next check, he gave me $3.50 raise. So now I'm making $33.50. Right. And then that next week, I get a call from this guy about this project. This is about ambition. Listen, man, my mom always tell me I'm too stupid to be scared. So I look at this job, I look at this project, I see the money I'm gonna make on it, right? Right. I'll go to the same white dude who just gave me a raise. I ain't even been at this job 3 months. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I tell him, I got this project I need to do. I need about 2-3 weeks off. But guess what? He says, you coming back, right? Right. I made myself invaluable. Right. And they're gonna miss me. You know what I'm saying? Right. You feel me? I'm coming in because I'm good at what I do. You know what I mean? I'm jam up with it. Right. But I never went back. You did? Oh wow. No. Yeah. I made him a client. Okay. Because on this project, you know, after I paid for the steel and everybody, you know what I'm saying, I did like $45,000. Right. So I got the old gang back together, you know what I'm saying? Because I had 6 guys on the job, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you know what? That at the very least will give me a couple months of, if don't nothing kick off, I'm not going to be eating out of garbage can. Right. In them months, like really pushing hard, building up some clientele and getting myself out there, you know what I'm saying? Woo. And that's what I did. But I made him a client because when I'm done with the project, right? When I'm supposed to be coming back, right. I come back and I hand him a business card. Right. Tell him this I'm like, this is America. And everybody want to get their piece of pie. And you got your piece of the pie. And I'm finna go get my slice. Right. I got my card. I'm fully bonded and insured. You know my work ethic. You know my abilities. I got a crew of guys. Woo. Right. Holler at me. Right. And they didn't call that next day. They didn't call the next month. But about a month later, somebody that they normally like outsource projects to couldn't get there. They called you. Called me. Ended up catching about 80,000 off of their ass. You know what I'm saying? Like throughout the year. Get it? But, and I say that to say not to be bragging. It's like for brothers who done been through them situations, man, you got to come with some character and integrity. You got to show up and show out. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no faking it till you make. Because most people you like fake it till you make it ain't always a negative thing, but most people be faking till they make it. They just plan on faking it. They just scam it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I came in there talking like, yeah, woo, woo, but like because I know I'm gonna be able to make it. You did?
Right.
And I say I'm gonna be there at 8. I'm gonna be there at 7:45. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I said we're gonna get the shit done by Friday. I'm gonna try to have it done on Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Like no excuses, like results. And not one client of mine to this day has asked me about my record.
Right.
Not one client has asked me, do you have any felonies? Because that ain't how it works. They want to know, can you get the job done?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I need,
can you get the job done? Can you do it in a timely manner and, and save us money? Yeah, I feel you.
And so that's how I've been moving ever since. And so that project was construction on land, but because of this, the customer who the guys who I was working for, that I turned to a customer, that was my first. Cause like he just like who walks up to you? You ain't been there 2 months, like I'm gonna give you $350. Oh, cause okay, I'm thinking y'all making a lot of fucking money down here. Excuse my language again, right? Right. And so once I made them a client, then they referred me to another client, Thunderbolt Marine, and I ended up having, did pretty good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because the money on the water is just different. So I started just marketing myself to doing yachts and boats and barges. And ferries and things like that.
So that's all you do. You strictly deal with, I guess, objects on the water, the yachts and stuff, as far as welding or repairing or whatever. Or you do anything, but that's your.
Say no. Right now, that's where my bread and butter is. But I don't know if you know. Earlier this year, I refurbished a hotel out on Tybee Island.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But as I'm doing it, like, and it's just because the water money wasn't jumping at that time. So as I'm doing, I'm like, shit, I should have missed that damn water money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just another, it's just another ball game over that way. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still rocking with them. Actually, I just did an aluminum boat for Hinkley Yacht Services and whatnot. And then it just puts you in places and in rooms with people in a different economic bracket, and I ain't one of the niggas who like pride themselves around being around people with money, because that don't mean nothing. I'm talking about just the fact that it opens up another door and perspective to, like, oh, these kind of people that put $100,000 in their gas tank,
right?
That's how much money it take to put marine diesel in an 80-foot Hatteras yacht,
right?
So like them just different kind of conversations, you know what I'm saying? Like, you finna put somebody's yearly salary in your gas tank?
Just ride around on the water.
And gonna burn it up in 3. Oh, this is what Junkie told me. When I found out like them numbers on the gas, I said, man, and how long do it take? Like, you put $100,000, how long does it take you to burn that? He said, oh, it depends on if I take a trip across the pond or not. The pond? The Atlantic Ocean is the pond.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just the verbiage.
Right.
Nigga, you talking about the ocean?
Right.
These niggas, y'all something else. and I want in.
I got you. I feel you.
So
with the second
now, but yeah, what's up?
Oh no, all right. So with the second go round, the business up and running, you're running smoothly. So, and you said you got your crew back together. So, about how many? I guess I don't want to say employees because you said you work with them. So, how many partners do you have in your business?
No, partners is not the word. Employees works.
All right. So I was gonna say employees, but you said
employees works, right? But they don't work for me. They work with me.
All right. Well, okay.
They're not partners. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's just my verbiage. We can just, for conversation's sake, we can keep it like
that. Right. Well, how many employees do you have? So you have to...
So all my guys, I 1099 them. So because it's a competitive field, and one of the things that I've yet to succeed at is having consistent all year round work. Right. It's been times where I have 2 years where I got 8 guys working 7 days a week. You know, when I said it was 6 days a week, 10 hours a day, you know what I'm saying, for 2 years straight. And then sometimes, like, you know, man, I need guys for 2 months. And then it might be a month where I don't need all of them, or I might just need 2, or I might just need 1, right? But I always pay my men well. Right. Nobody off at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, because like I'm taxing them. So, like, you know what I mean? It ain't nothing for me to, you know what I'm saying, give you a fair living wage. You know what I'm saying? That also gives me some peace of mind that if I ain't there, that you ain't taking an hour long damn bathroom break. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And bullshit. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
So I've been able to figure out how to engender some loyalty.
Gotcha.
With the guys that work with me. And I will say this too, though. So I have twice had to fire my second in command. Right, the guy who, like, you know what I mean, I was trusting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Your right hand man is not why the right hand man and not the regular 1099 employee.
No, the right hand man, like he wasn't a partner. He wasn't investing in me business wise, but like he was the foreman. Right, he was getting paid the most out of all the other guys.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Why him? Why did you have to let him go versus the employees?
Right.
Because see, like the right hand man is supposed to be stick with you. You know, if that's a man $20,000. You get rid of the employee, right. He's gonna be there.
And in both cases, like my heart broke. Like you.
Right.
Like et tu, Brute?
Yeah.
Really? Hey, I was just at your daughter's bar mitzvah, nigga. Like, really?
Right.
And like that's something that it's a continual business lesson learning for me about the fine line between y'all work with me, but you also are my employee.
Right.
And this guy who my right hand, and you know what I'm saying, I'm giving him bonuses and this, that, and the third. You know, a fine line between somebody being thankful for the bonus and then thinking to themselves, I wonder how much money he making where he can give me a bonus. Like, you see how that thinking? Right. And then that thinking turns into something else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then that thinking turns into, because in both cases, essentially, both of them like tried to go behind my back to the client and be like, try to like steal my client type of situation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh wow.
Yeah, but it's like, dude, you can't do what I do.
Right.
And in both cases, how I found out is that the client came and like, Brian, I hate to tell you, but you know, your right hand man, he's a snake.
Right.
And this is after, you know what I mean, years of them eating.
Right.
Eating. My last guy on the I was giving this nigga $50 an hour.
Right.
Took him from a job that he was making $27 an hour.
Damn, near double the salary, and then he's still like, damn.
Right? And again, it's something that I don't have a clear answer for that beyond, like, at some point in that thinking, when you reward people for good work, you know what I'm saying, and everything else. And because ultimately ultimately I'm blaming myself, because there's something that about me letting them get too comfortable, or you know what I mean, too much, that turns into jealousy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, instead of gratitude, it turned into resentment.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I give you $1,000 bonus, and you like, I wonder how much money he made off of this to be able to give me $1,000. Like,
right.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
You did? And so that's why I was caught off guard, because I'm like how you mad? Like, how is you mad?
Right.
But that happened twice. So, like, again, that's something, you know. I don't know if that's a play. I don't know if that's something that they could have taught me if I took a business class or not. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's something they never tell you about in business classes.
But I do know that shit happen all the time in the streets.
Right.
Y'all was getting the bag together. You know what I'm saying? And you know, but you go and you catch the plug. You know what I'm saying? And he's still eating with you. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like you left him in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? But you pull up in your new walk the bound because you just manage money better or whatever, and the bras are choosing on you. Now your main man, who you've been, you know what I'm saying, who you came up from the dirt with, looking at you trying to figure out how to rob you.
Right.
So you see, like, that's what happened to me twice. And this is in business though. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of shit, you know? So I mean, it's a constant learning lesson. Like for real. Constant.
So yeah, that's for real. And life is a learning lesson. Real.
That's up.
Right.
I'm a great student, man. That's the only reason I'm a decent leader, because I know how to be a good student.
I got you. All right. So now we're gonna let's go into your new endeavor, United Pursuits, and the pilot car. So how did you get into that service, or offering that service?
All right. So quick caveat, because, you know, since the nature of the show right now is about, you know, how a setback can be a setup for a major come up. So a partner of mine who I actually met in the county jail, right? But we got in tune on some like reading books and like being and talking business and you know what I'm saying, and like and really standing on it, really meaning it, right? And so we become close and we real tight. One of his little homies had just came home from prison, right? And he got the idea of somewhere to do a woo, right? But like the ability to see the vision and know how to scale it, right? You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't. Because one of the major things, you can't be greedy. It's enough money for everybody, so you don't have to get every red cent. You know what I'm saying? You did, like I was telling like if I don't have to get 100% every time, right? But if I get 25% of 4 things, that's still 100, isn't it? Right. But a lot of people can't get out of the mindset. I need 100% everything, but that's gonna leave you by yourself. Right. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody want to do no business with you because that ain't, you know what I mean? That ain't how it works. True. So when my man brought it to me, and then I did my R&D and research, and I'm looking at it and how it's relatively unregulated compared to the trucking industry, and getting paid just as much, if not more, sometimes than somebody in a 18-wheeler to drive a car. Like for real, it's crazy. I'm like, what? Like, why would anybody drive a fucking damn 18-wheeler? Right. The numbers is, and we can chalk that up. And I saw the scalability of it too. Networking with y'all up there in Rome, you know what I'm saying? Because I can't get to some over there, man. All you got to do is jump in your car and put the little signs on it, and you know what I mean? You getting $2 a mile. Right. Truckers don't. So do you do over the roads, or you follow and these are for the transfer trucks or whatever that are carrying like the oversized loads and everything? So any oversized load, whether it be tall or wide, it's their potential 3 positions, right? The first position is what's called a high pole, and that's if it's a load that's real tall, and the high pole has a pole attached to it that's set at a certain feet, which is the height of the actual load that's being pulled, so that as you're going up under any bridges or overpasses, you know what I'm saying? Like if that high pole hits, then you got to call and tell them jokers, hey, y'all can't, you know what I mean? So you stay like about a mile ahead of them. Okay. So they have time to pull over and stop because they can't pull that load up under that bridge or up under that viaduct. Okay. The second position is the lead. And the lead, if you don't have a high pole, is just somebody in the front as you're driving. And the thing about it is so simple. Like imagine anytime you ever been on the highway, you making mental notes about hazards all the time. There's a piece of rubber that flew off a truck, right? It's right there, right, in order to avoid it. You know what I'm saying? Or some kind of debris, or a hitchhiker, or a car that's on the side of the road that's abandoned, right? All of those things are major hazards for a wide load. So the lead car just rides in the front and on the CB calls out any hazards they see. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Okay. And on a wide load, if you a wide load truck, if they have to make a right turn, right, they got to get over in the left lane in order to make that right turn because they got so much behind them, right? So the other thing is you know what I'm saying? Okay, I know my turn coming up. I'll get into the left lane, and then the guy in the back is called the chase. And the chase gets into the left lane as well to clear that lane so that the truck can make that wide turn. So no cars come up in because sometimes cars will try to drive in because they already mad because you're going slow and all that stuff. They try to sneak in, and you know what I'm saying? That potentially cause an accident. You know what I mean? And so the chase in the back, his job is again to call out potential things like a motorcycle. You know what I'm saying? Motorcycles are small as hell, and like a wild load, he's not going to even see him. You know what I'm saying? Right. So police, those kind of things. You know what I'm saying? And that's essentially what it is. You know what I mean? Okay. Now, large loads. So, how long have you? Well, I know this is a new endeavor for you. How long have you been involved in this business? So, again, talking about willing to bet on yourself and see a void. I started putting money into it, like getting insurance and equipment and everything else, probably like a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago. Okay. Once I finally got the insurance, because I had to put some money away, you know what I'm saying, to at least not put some money, but devote some money to it, because the insurance that was a cost. Right. And then we officially jumped off the porch week before this week that just passed. But it took a whole week and a half before we got our first load. We got our first load on Wednesday this week.
Okay.
But again, with the game plan and vision that I had about once you get out there, then, you know what I mean, start meeting and greeting, passing cards around and shit, that and the third.
Right.
We've been working every day since then.
Okay.
Started on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we booked up on Monday too. By the time Monday get here, I'll have something for, you know, that's the game plan. So it's
are you doing short, like since you're just not beginning or whatever, are you doing like just the state of Georgia, or are you over the road?
So right now, so that's really a matter of like business. That's really a matter of strategy. Like I can choose to do long or short. But if I can do like 2 or 3 shorts in a day and make $1,000, right?
Right.
And I can make, you know, on a long going to California, you know, make $5,000, but it takes 5 days. It's still the same number, right? So I can stay closer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So for the most part, right now, it's been North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Quick hits. You know what I'm saying? Man, and it's been working out well, and I see the opportunity for networking.
Right.
Different people I know in different area codes in different cities, because the barriers to entry is low, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we can chop it up on some game, and then like if I broker the load, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You know, the load, let's say the load paying $2, you know what I'm saying? I say, hey, I'm gonna give this to you. Just give me, I want 25 cents a mile. You get the $1.75, I get 25 cents off of that. Because I'm not driving, but I broke the load for you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's a multiplier effect that can happen in every city where I know people.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a situation where, again, like nobody asking you to take a drug test and asking you if you've been to prison and you know what I'm saying, and this, that, and the third, you know? It's ways that we can continue to, you know what I mean, take care of our family and loved ones in spite of whatever setbacks that we might have had. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. All right. So what are your plans for the future? You know, because I see you in the beginning stages of being a serial entrepreneur. You know, with 2 businesses or whatever. Like, what do you see Alpha Fabrications going? What do you see United Pursuits going, and any other endeavors that you have possibly coming up in the future?
That's not easily answered. And that's just because that's just because how my brain works.
Right.
Like I don't love none of this stuff. I love being able to take care of my family and loved ones.
Right.
I don't love
I
don't love work. It's hard for me to, like, when somebody say, man, I love what I do. I'm like, who loves work? That's crazy.
Right.
And that's no diss to nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a means to an end.
Right.
So I say that partly to the answer because, like, I mean, I don't need $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that comes with more stress. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm exaggerating to the point of, like, I want to be comfortable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I want to build some financial and generational wealth for, you know what I mean? And for me, that's more of like creating a well-oiled machine that I could just put people in, include like my nephew, my brother, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, or a friend of mine, right?
Right.
And so as an entrepreneur in that level, you know what I'm saying, like creating well-oiled machines and well-ordered programs that, you know what I mean, with ease, I can, you know, plug and unplug, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Move people around, you know what I'm saying? And still be able to make some money for me and them. So it's a mutual benefit situation.
Right.
And so, like for me, and that's why I started off with, like, I'm not in love with none of it. Like, if it's plungers, nigga, I'm gonna open up a plunger factory and I'm gonna be selling plungers.
Okay, then. So you're gonna basically, it sounds like you're gonna figure out a way to come up, no matter what it is.
The numbers need to be in the black. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Right.
And, you know, another piece of advice. You know, and it's not a, you know, it's not an exact thing, but the way somebody tried to explain it to me was like, he said, I never get in bed with nobody that loves what they do. So what you mean by that? He said, love will have somebody ignoring the numbers. Right? I'm a great cook. I love cooking and everything else. And I got this restaurant, you know what I'm saying? And the food is great, but you're horrible at keeping your inventory right. You
Right.
don't pay attention to your loss on
Profit and loss statement. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't know how, you know what I mean? Whereas my mind is, I want to know, this is a great steak. I want to know how many ounces of salt and paprika went on each steak.
Right.
I'm gonna crunch the numbers. The numbers
Right.
need to make sense. And people who are in love with their stuff, they be, you know, it's not absolute, but too often the love will have them ignoring that, man. Your business has been losing money for the past 2 years. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
you go and get a second mortgage on the crib and everything else. And that's not to discourage anybody to not love what they do either, right? But for every success story that you've heard somebody say, man, I just dug down here because I love it, it's 30 people that spent their children's down fucking college fund and lost their grandmama house because they love that shit and then crunch them fucking numbers, man. We gotta crunch them numbers. I don't give a damn what it is. If it's plungers and I'm looking at square foot, how much does it take? How much can I sell it for? Right. And then bulk and how much distribute it. We're selling plungers tomorrow. Right. I swear to God, we're selling plungers. Yes. That's just how I look at it, bro.
All right. Well, to everyone out there, you know, watching the show or whatever, today's guest has been Yoshi Moyo, longtime friend, met him at Savannah State or whatever. And before we sign off, Yoshi, do you have any parting words? Do you have anything you would like to express to the audience?
In the thread of business, I can't stress enough work-life balance. So that's probably like the answer question to you know, about like what's the plan for the future. Like, I don't ever want to, and I've been in that position before. I don't ever want to like be miserable making a lot of money. Right. I'm still miserable. Right. I don't ever want to be making a lot of money, but I don't get to see my kids. Right. I want my family. Right. Or I'm so tired that when I do get home, it's almost like you're absentee father because you know what I'm saying? So and also like there's something to be said of like you got to work hard in order to be able to enjoy the time, right? Right. You know what I mean? But like not to ever get lost in that though, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a thing, you know, you can be so stressed that, you know what I'm saying, that money, and then you look around and have a heart attack or something, or, you know, you got an ulcer or something because of how hard you going at it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, going ultra hard and not really taking time out to enjoy the simple things of life. I feel you.
Yeah, man. And the thing about my setback is like, man, you know, I after being in, you know, in concrete in iron for years, like how good it felt to actually just sit in some grass. Right. Because you don't get a chance to sit down in the grass and behind them walls. So some small things. I have another level of appreciation.
And that's true. You know, I never thought about that, but yeah, because it's all concrete.
Like You're right. Small like that, man. Like, damn, I'm just sit down in the dirt.
Right.
Like, for real. So, and I'm extrapolating that to say I have a different level of appreciation for some of the smaller things in life because of, you know, from being in a position, you know, when I was doing that setback that I did, you know, have access to and everything else. So I appreciate those things. And so as I'm not in the rat race, by the way. You know, people say like I'm not in the rat race because that ain't, you know what I mean? The rat race implies that you'll do anything and be, you know what I'm saying, to get to the top and all that. And I ain't in the rat race. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want that cheese. I'm good. I got you. Straight up. You know what I mean? I don't want that. And so part of that's to demand to die and own self be true. And you know, like get it. You know what I mean? Don't nobody want you when you're down and out. You know what I'm saying? But But always stay conscious and be careful of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't make the money. Don't let the money make you.
And on that note, everyone, words of wisdom from Yoshi: make the money. Don't let the money make you. And to everyone out there, I hope y'all have a great rest of your day or whatever. And thank you for watching I Feel You, the podcast with Yosheyah Moyo or Yoshi Moyo.
D-Dub, my man. I appreciate it, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.